Well, if you've been watching my videos that I've been doing in this series, welcome back. And you heard a lot of my voice. Thank you for listening. Promise this is the last one for this weekend. But I wanted to go through some EDC knives that actually get carried and used. Some of these, again, are old. Some of them are newer. Let's open my little pouch. Seems to be coming apart, but this pouch has seen some use as well. The pouch actually keeps these from, it's got a rust inhibitor in it, and it's a really nice pouch. I just fold it over and roll it up, and I keep it put aside, and it takes up a lot less space, and I don't have to stack the boxes. Again, I've been talking about knives that are inexpensive EDCs that don't break the bank. Now, I've talked about some things that are your higher end tier, $120 knives, and I have talked about knives that are a little less than $100 at about $75. And then I've talked about some super inexpensive knives that are about $35, $40. But this last knife kind of falls on the higher end of the spectrum at $60 to $75. But I'm going to tell you what, it's different from all of these in that it is my biggest EDC that I actually carry and use. That is the Columbia River Knife and Tool Company, or I say Cricket, 2903 Folding, and I'm going to butcher this and I do apologize, Hissatsu Spring Action Knife. Now, again, I'm not an expert on the name, but I can tell you this is a cool knife. Bear with me one second, I'll put these up and let's get down to the review. Now this knife, as I said, I've carried it several times and I enjoy carrying it, but I carry this one differently. I'll get to that in a second, but let's talk about the knife. The CRKT 2903 is a spring-assisted beast. Do you see how fast that knife comes out? Do you hear the authority by which the blade is deployed? I am super impressed with this knife. Very large EDC. As a matter of fact, it is an outside the belt EDC. That is almost a 4-inch blade on this knife. And what do I mean by outside the belt? That means that instead of putting this big bad boy in your pocket and taking up this much space and that much width with this much heft, I put it on the outside of my belt. You would call that open carry. And I do carry this one open carry, and it has been noticed. Where I live, I can carry open carry. Now, would this be considered an aggressive style knife or an intimidating knife? Not just looking at it hanging on the pocket. Look at that. Looks kind of silly. It looks like it's just a big old slab of metal or plastic. You can't really tell. But when this thing comes out, that is approximately 4-inch Tanto AUS 8 steel that jumps out of this handle. It's intimidating, it's fast, it's loud. It just screams that this knife right here, you don't want to mess with it. Can you believe the force by which this thing gets out of that handle? And again, this is a $60 to $75 knife with AUS 8 steel. Now, what kind of washers is it riding on? It must be, the washers are helping it jump out of there. Here's the crazy thing. This is the first knife I've ever seen that I own that has mixed washers. That being one side is phosphorus bronze and the other is a nylon washer. Why they did that? Maybe it's to do with the amount of blade play that they're allowing. I'm not sure, but this thing right here, that is unbelievable for a 4-inch Tanto blade to jump out like that. It is a coated blade that matches the handle. And speaking of handles, that is glass-filled nylon. So if the question is it metal, is it plastic? Well, it's glass-filled nylon. So really, it's neither. I mean, it's a step above plastic and a step below aluminum, but it does give it a lower weight, a good grip, and a nice matte finish. It's got some cool thumb disc up here. Instead of having dual thumb studs, you get a disc, which the disc actually gives you the ability to place your thumb on top of the knife and give it that choked up feel. Is this an EDC that you're going to use to do fruits and packages? You could, but no. This is simply a self-defense weapon. You can use it as a regular knife, but you're going to have a hard time justifying a 4-inch blade at work that jumps out of the handle like that, especially once they see it deployed. they're going to go, no, thank you. That's not the kind of knife that we want you to have at work. Some places may let you. I guarantee it's not where I work. So, tip up only carry, left or right. You can switch it. You do have the comfort of knowing that it doesn't deploy very easily. I mean, you can see that. It has a little bit of detent, but to get it going, you do have to ease this sucker out and get it to the breakover point, and that's why you will fling it with your thumb, like that with the disc. So in the pocket, you're not going to have an issue of it discharging. I've never had it discharged. As I said, I carry it on the outside. Never had it discharge on me. Very solid knife. The lockup on this is a beast. If you look at this liner lock, it's nice. But look, watch. I'm going to do the liner lock, and the knife won't close. Isn't that awesome? Why? Because it actually has a thumb safety for doing the liner lock. So when you close this, you push it with your finger, you do the liner lock there, and flip it. And look at that. The detent on it, it sticks right there. That's the pressure at which the assistance kicks in. So you're not going to close it on your finger. Lock it down. Man, that thing is just solid. And here we go. Look at that. So if you're looking for a folding self-defense knife that is in the larger category of EDC and you want to do an open carry, by all means, this is probably a knife worth looking at. That Tanto style blade, it's got the style you want for self-defense. It's got the design, the point, the puncturing, and the sharpness with that AUS 8 steel. And at 4 inches, almost 4 inches, that thing is a beast. So, a lot of good things to say about this knife. It's held up well, takes a little oil, a little bit of love every now and then, and you will have it staying sharp and as fast as can be. So that's the CRKT 2903. I'm going to butcher the name. The Folding Hissatsu spring-assisted carrying knife. What a good design. What a good design. I really do appreciate the design of that. And it's so solid, especially for the money. So, if you're looking for something for self-defense and you want to spend a little bit of money, hey, try finding one of these on Walmart. Wink, wink. Sometimes you can catch them on sale. Fantastic knife. So, happy hunting. I hope you find one that jumps out of the handle. Thanks again. This has been my EDC knives. They've been used, worn, handled, given love, and all held the test of time. Thank you. Have a fantastic weekend.